All right, welcome back. Harry Potter Part 2. For those who are returning and have seen Part 1, welcome back. For those who haven't seen Part 1, why are you here? Go watch Part 1 and then come back and watch Part 2. I mean, I guess you don't really have to. It's more like a bunch of more minor points, but there's just a nice fluidity and completeness to my thought process, so it would be much better if you watch Part 1. But otherwise, let's jump straight in, shall we? All right, in this segment, I'd like to call... Now, I know what you're probably thinking. All governments are corrupt. At least most of them are. But no. The Ministry of Magic is straight up a fascist regime. And you know it's bad when you call a government a regime. That's the trigger word. And to prove this, I will just point out one thing. They send people to prison with no trials. Hagrid is a suspect in Chamber of Secrets. They don't have proof of it. They just suspect him of doing something, right? Some evidence, not strong. What do they do before his trial? Oh, they don't keep him on house arrest. They don't, send him to like a nice cell. No, they send him to Azkaban. They're like, no. We think you did something, so you're gonna go hang out with some soul-sucking ghosts in their emo phase. It ain't the one, all right? Umbridge, we know she did terrible things. The story is told from Harry's perspective. Do we ever see the court case? We do not, which means she basically was sent to Azkaban without any trial either. I'm not saying I agree with what she did. She did terrible things, but I'm just saying it's a bad precedent. And the thing is, I think it's because they don't have any lawyers. That's what happens when you stop education at a primary school level. There are no lawyers. Also, they have memory spells and the brainwashing evil curse. I'm not saying that they should use it, but I'm just saying there are so many ways to prove if someone did a crime. They should never falsely accuse anyone. They just don't care. They just go for the easiest solution, which is send you to jail. The only trial that we see is Igor Krakarov, and that's not even really a trial, okay? It's a court case about an early release. The man is snitching. This man is literally snitching on some of the most evil, powerful, influential wizards in the world, potentially of all time. And the government look at him and go, do you know what this man needs? An audience. That is some Black Mirror fascism stuff, okay? They're literally like, I wonder what we could do this Saturday night. I know, let's gather the crew, let's gather all my friends and watch a man in a cage betray his friends and watch humanity at its lowest. They're treating it the same way I would treat taking a girl on a date to see a musical. I go see Wicked, they go see Testimonial of a Death Eater. And you know it's messed up because one of the men he was snitching on was in the room. Why in the holy nepotism is this man here? Why are you here? The opposite side of this point is that once Igor was released, he became a head teacher of his school. Like, I believe in the rehabilitation of prisoners and whatnot, but it's not like he was doing white-collar scams. He was murdering people and God knows what else. And you're putting this man in charge of children. Like, is there not a parole officer that should be checking in on this man? This very naturally leads into my next point, which is that in the Harry Potter world, there should never be repeat offenders due to a simple spell called the Unbreakable Vow. Now, for those who don't remember, the Unbreakable Vow is the spell that Snape does at the beginning of the 6th book where he promises his Malfoy's mum that he's going to help him with the mission. And if he fails to complete this mission, he will unfortunately pass on. So for those who watch anime, it's basically the Judgment Chain from Hunter x Hunter. Shout out to my favorite anime of all time. But the basic idea is you need to do what you're told, otherwise you pass on. So what I would do is anytime a prisoner is leaving Azkaban, you go all Moses on their ass. You give them 10 commandments. I will not kill. I will not be an evil wizard. I will not use any of the forbidden curses. Whatever. And that way, if they do try and use any of these, they will also pass on. I'm just saying, Voldemort, when he came back, he very quickly recruited his people back. I know they only did it because they were scared for their families and whatnot, but if there was an Unbreakable Vow, they couldn't have joined at all, and Voldemort would have been basically alone. Maybe he would have had one rat boy because technically no one knew that Peter was alive. And you might be saying, well, you were just complaining about them being fascists, and now you're complaining that there should actually be more restrictions. All I'm saying is, as a prisoner, if I had a choice between leaving prison with a promise that I won't do anything bad versus hanging out with a bunch of ghosts in their emo era, I am choosing the Unbreakable Vow. I don't exactly know what the soul does, but I'm not about to feed these guys. The absolute lack of safety measures in Hogwarts. I know I'm not unique in talking about this. Everyone's been making fun of this joke since the first book. But like, I know they locked the door, but you're telling me they couldn't have a buffer between, all your students and a 3-headed monster that'll rip them to shreds? Not like a little side door that's like, yo, you've made a mistake, go back if you don't want to die. No, just one warning.
What?
Mate, I have ADHD. I have no idea where I am so often. I will be dog food within a week. All I'm suggesting is maybe you get rid of the room with the plants that a spell that you learn in second year can get rid of, and you just add a room that has a giant sign that just says, get out, wrong room, death ahead. But no, there's about half a foot of a wooden, fragile door between a monster from Greek mythology and the general student population. I have also come to realize that despite not belonging in prison, Hagrid should 100% be fired. Should I remind you that he sent a muggle child for life-changing surgery because he ate a bit of cake? Like, yes, the kid was a bit of a brat, but Hagrid did take it too far. Also, I can promise you that the Dark Forest is 100% his fault. I bet you before he worked there, it wasn't even called the Dark Forest. It was just called the Forest, where students went for picnics and walks, just enjoying a bit of nature. But no, Hagrid comes along and creates a monster breeding ground, and now only giants can enter it. Like seriously, let's count all the things that are actually a danger in the Dark Forest, not including the games where they have to add extra challenges for the players. Centaurs. Yes, we've seen them be quite dangerous, but assuming you're not a two-faced Baldy or a terrible person in pink, they're not that big of a problem. Don't be racist to them, leave them alone and they'll leave you alone. Werewolves. Only a problem in third year when Lupin was hired, and only really a problem on the full moon. The Whipping Willow. Just maybe don't drive your car into a tree that could beat you. The only thing that we can consider a consistent danger in the Forbidden Forest are the giant spiders that Hagrid introduced. Not only did he bring Aragog, which was already messed up, I know he's a teenager, but still, he also brought him a wife. He brought the man a mate and then was surprised to see what happened. I genuinely believe that if Voldemort hadn't attacked Hogwarts when he did, there would have been a spider invasion within 5 years. And I'm right about this, because the spiders did join Voldemort. Hagrid unintentionally gave Voldemort soldiers. Now, obviously, I hate to make this point, because Hagrid is a beloved character. I also love Hagrid. He is a big teddy bear of a man, super adorable, heart of gold. That being said, send him to Siberia, let him go hunt frost dragons. Hell, send him to Egypt and let him pet a sphinx. But just keep him away from the children, please.
The man has genuinely almost killed Harry more times than Voldemort.
He sent him on what was basically a Pegasus with a beak that had an attitude, flying across the sky with no protection, no seatbelt, and no knowledge about where the animal was going. Now, I've done horse riding lessons. I've only done like 2 or 3, but during that time, they held a very strong grip on the horse because they knew I did not know what I was doing. The horse could run off, take me with it, and God knows where I'd end up. That was 2-dimensional. This thing is flying. Okay, enough about school safety. Let's move on to the next chapter I like to call which means these are spells or abilities that defy reality, that just make you too overpowered. And I think everyone knows which one I'm going to start with. It's the most obvious one, and it's time turners. Time turners are broken as hell. You're telling me that there is a necklace that lets me time travel. I can literally go back in time when something doesn't suit me. I am never losing a fight because every time I'm getting whooped, I'm going to pull a Barry Allen and go back in time and try again. And don't tell me it's a rare magic item. It's not. They gave it to a 12-year-old girl so she could take more classes. I don't care how smart or talented or much of a prodigy you are. If there's only like 7 things in the world, the Ministry of Magic is not giving you one of them. They don't know you. You're just a random girl with a note from her teacher. But that's the easy one and the obvious one. As soon as you saw the name of this chapter, you knew it was coming. I think there's another one which is just as broken that I feel like people actually don't discuss, and it's a little potion called Felix Felicis. For those who don't know what I'm talking about,
he won it as a prize when he was doing the potions class, and it gave him the ability to basically turn into Domino from Deadpool. And let's be honest, we've seen how overpowered that girl is. She'd be walking through the dark forest on a stroll and not see a single thing. Even if you want to go back earlier to my point about money, take some Felix, buy some Bitcoin, watch it go up, everyone makes bank. I suppose the people who didn't buy Bitcoin won't make bank. But most importantly, I would take this before every single battle.
You're gonna fight me. Before you can finish saying Ava, a bird is gonna come and hit you in the face. I win. The battles aside, the life improvement applications of this are insane. We don't know how rare it is. If it wasn't rare, I would take it every single day like an NZT pill. Play life on easy mode. Hell, we don't even know what the limitations are. What if Harry took the potion and wanted Dumbledore's job? Would he then have an unfortunate drop down the stairs so the position opens up? And don't tell me it's rare, it was a prize for a school's potion class. Not even a test, just a class. If it is rare, just drink it and make it your intention to make more. Look at that, I luckily stumbled upon a lifetime supply. The next one I think is the most broken yet under-discussed show of power.
Voldemort cursed a job. The man did not get a job as a teacher and was like, nah mate, if I ain't getting this job, no one's getting this job. I'm job hunting right now. It's hard out in these streets trying to get a job. But cursing a whole ass job? I understand that he is one of the most powerful wizards of all time. I understand that. It's not like everyone could do this. But like, this makes him a god level threat.
What if he then decides to curse the Ministry of Magic job? What happens then? Who knows?
Also, he cursed it so that anyone who says his name, they can find like a GPS. All I'm saying is maybe the government should hire Dumbledore, who's on his level, to do it so that if anyone ever uses any of the forbidden spells, they get an alert and their people teleport to them. It's literally an insane ability. God level threat.
And what confuses me,
people in the Potter world were more impressed that he could fly without a broom than the fact that he created a curse that lasted 50 years on a job. Their priorities are in the wrong place.
All right. That brings us to the end of part 2 of this trilogy. Well done, you're 2/3 through. I will be dropping part 3 tomorrow, so subscribe and keep a keen eye out for that. If you want to see all 3 together in one go, I will be dropping it early on my Patreon, so consider supporting me there. You will have forever my undying love, but, no pressure. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Peace.